Let me allow us to set the tone. Of course, we're going to start with athletics. We have a special guest for our viewers. Austin will take us through that, and we'll try to have a robust conversation on what is happening in Nigeria with regard athletics.
It's important, yes, that we'll have that conversation because I think right after the Olympics, we stopped talking about athletics, particularly because quite a number of persons were asking questions as regards where we're going with our athletics. And now leadership is in the conversation because we're getting ready for the Federation's election. So on the show tonight, we'll have the former technical director of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, Sunday Adeleye, will be joining us from our Abuja studio. We're waiting for him to join us there. Sunday Adeleye, good evening. Welcome to Sports Tonight.
Thank you, Austin. It's nice having you guys around, and I'm happy being back home at Channels today.
Awesome, Sunday. Let's get into it quickly. I know you've been having a lot of talks. You've been looking at the athletics environment in Nigeria. What areas do you think we should give attention as we get ready for the Federation's elections?
Well, I think the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, or athletics in general in Nigeria, needs a total overhauling. And then, of course, because I think we've derailed from some of our givings and then looking at our strength, of course, we've neglected the long-distance area that belongs to us also. So we have to start looking at those areas and looking at the technical areas as well. So we'll pick it gradually from there.
A lot because I think we've got the potentials, but what's lacking? Because we're now getting into the marathons, they're looking good. Do we lack the talents?
Well, that is absurd to say. Sorry to use that word because Nigeria is full of talent. We have these talents. You can even see them on the street. Just your next door neighbor is a talent. So the problem is converting those talents into stars. You know, once you have a administrative issue problem, or you have a technical problem, or how to channel those energies of those talents into actual professionalism or professionals in that field, it becomes a problem. Then those talents are wasted. You know, you can't. So we have some people who identify those talents, but how do you convert them? Becomes another problem.
Tell us, before I hand you over to my colleague in Lagos, how do we harness those talents? You want to become the president of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. How do we get things in motion, Sunday Adeleye?
Austin, you recall 2017 when we came on board as the Federation and I became the technical director. What I did actually was, of course, discovering talent. We had to set out scouts out there to go to schools, organize competitions for schools to discover talent. You recall that in the history of Athletics Federation of Nigeria, I am the first technical director that will come out with a war chest to say, look, I want to take out athletes for international competitions with a very small finance and support. You recall that I took 125 athletes in the history of Nigeria. No technical director, no board has ever done it. Taking 125 athletes and 15 officials to Abidjan then, which I was crucified for. And of course, those talents today are the ones that you see today. Those talents of yesterday that I discovered and took out for those competitions are the ones out there that are doing Nigeria proud today. Over 70% of those athletes are in the US, of course, that gain scholarship. And they are out there doing Nigeria proud. But, you know, you must understand that when you discover talent without exposure, it becomes useless. It becomes a waste. When we discover these athletes, take them out, expose them to competition, eliminate that competition freight, and then that's all. That's all they need. These athletes just need to compete and go out there and see other compatriots or other opponents from other countries and see how they do it. And they come out with that war chest and say, look, we want to break our leg for our country and want to represent our country and give our family name out there for Nigerians to celebrate.
All right, thanks for joining us, Mr. Adeleye, Yemi here in Lagos. I want to throw this in quickly. You've identified the problems. I'm reading some quotes attributed to you. You said you've studied nations, you've seen how they do it and how to be successful. I want to ask a question. is the job, you've talked about the problems, but the job to get athletics, return it to the glory days, is it a job for one person? You talked about how state federations and how all of these things can run. So I'm asking you, because especially now that we are looking at elections and all that, is it something one person can do? I'm asking that question against the backdrop of people who come and say a lot of things. At the end of the day, they'll come back and tell you that I couldn't do it because of this, this, and this. So I'm asking from the onset, is it something a person gets to a certain position and is able to fix all the problems?
You can't go this go alone. This go is not a go that you go alone. You, of course, need the support of everybody. All hands must be on deck. You understand? You need the stakeholders to work with you as the president or the leader of the federation. Of course, you need experts, you need ex-athletes, you need them to come on board to support you because they are the ones that fit on the shoes before and know where it pains. You know, it's different from when you have people out there that have not practiced athletics or have never competed to come out to say they want to champion this business. It becomes a fluke. It becomes difficult for them to achieve something. So one person cannot go the go alone. You need the support of an entire team. That is why, for example, you need the support of from the state, from the grassroots. It comes up to the national level. Of course, as the former technical director, why I succeeded then was because I had to identify coaches and say, look, if you are a coach for junior, you have no business with the senior athlete. So the coaches for junior stays with junior, the intermediary stays with intermediary, and the senior stays with senior. But these days you see different people, the same person or somebody doing the same thing, so you have issues. So nobody can go alone. So we need everybody to come together as a team and then, of course, drive the process forward.
All right, let me also throw this in quickly. How long will it take? I mean, you've talked about the right things, putting square peg, square holes, support, cooperation, funding. We can go on and on talking about all of those things. But let's assume we have a situation, whether you or anybody who gets to be on the saddle does the right thing. How long will it take before we begin to see the results? Because on this side, we're journalists and we also have people who are just supporters. Everybody likes good results, realistically. Once you start doing the right things, how long will it take before we start seeing the results, realistically?
Yeah, it's a plug-and-play thing. If you understand the business and you know it, it's a plug-and-play. You have the materials you need on ground. It's just for you to be able to assemble them. Go back to the statistic. Of course, now the NCAA has just started. The outdoor is on. Go and look. You see the performance of Nigerian athletes out there. These youngsters going out there to do exploit, doing great things out there. So we have these athletes that are ready. It's just for the administrative arm to be able to assemble, to bring these guys together, put a team together, and we drive. Then, of course, we start building, of course, below those ones and bringing other ones up. But we can't just say, oh, we need 10 years, we need 5 years to restructure. No, it's a get-go thing. There's no time. Time waits for nobody. Jamaica will not wait for you. America will not, US will not wait for you. The Europeans will also not wait for you. So if you see the ratio of Nigerian athletes in the US today, in the collegiate system, we have this pool of talents. So we are ready. It's just to get the right person there in the office, which I believe is myself, going there to fix this thing, and then we'll get it going.
All right. Since you talk about the collegiate system, it prompts me to ask this question before I yield back to my colleague, Austin. There's this notion, I don't know if it's wrong, you can correct me if you think it's wrong. There's this notion that it will take a longer time to achieve anything with athletes here. But it's quite easier to begin to spot talent when you see somebody that has a Nigerian name. You talk about plug and play, pick some of those guys and begin, to make them represent Nigeria, which of course has its own problems. So do you agree that taking athletes here, investing in them will take longer time than, looking abroad and seeing those who have already been trained, gone through that system, and begin to work with those ones? Do you agree with that notion?
I totally disagree with that notion because, of course, even before now, you have the superstars. You have a lot of athletes that were home-based athletes that were doing exploit, of course. Now, I remember as the technical director, what I do is that those days is like, okay, if you have an athlete from the US that is coming from the US and he's coming with, he's running a 10-1, for example, in the 100 meters. And then I have another athlete in Nigeria that is running a 10-3. I think I need to put more energy, of course, on that athlete that runs 10-3 because, of course, the guy in America wakes up with good life, everything is all there for him. You get it. When you talk about equipment, you talk about facilities, he has everything going for him. Then this person here in Nigeria, the athlete here, that is going through tough times, difficult times to train and gets to a 10-3, of course, with a little push, with good coaching, with good dieting, he will be out there doing it. So we need is a balanced thing. We need everybody together, and then and that is what we have. Everybody cannot be in the collegiate system. Everybody cannot be in school in the US. We have some fantastic athletes in Nigeria, of course, that are in the universities in Nigeria here, and they are doing very great. Of course, the United States schools will not call these athletes if they were not doing very well back home here. So performance, of course, home here speaks a lot. So it's just a little tweak here, a little tweak there, which, of course, when you talk about the dieting, you talk about good training, you talk about facilities, and then of course, the coaching, and we'll be there.
Sunday Adeleye, wrap this up for me. And I like the things you're saying because you're a former athlete, so you understand the language. But this is administration we're talking about. You've talked about what you did in the past. But let's look at the race towards the leadership of the AFN. You're going against your former boss, Ibrahim Gusso. There's Commodore Nasiana in the midst. There is the current president of the AFN, Tony Okoa. What is it about you that makes you stand out for this race? Wrap it up for me, please.
Well, of course, experience counts. I've been there as an athlete. I've been there as an administrator. I've been there, in all the fields. So I understand the business. You understand it. Everybody on the team, they are fantastic gentlemen. They are people that I've worked with one way or the other. We are friends, we're family. You understand it. But of course, everybody is going to go and see how we can come out to better the athletics in Nigeria. We're all going there for the same purpose, but of course, we need to understand that we need people who understand this business to drive it. It's not about our own interest first, it's about the interest of Nigeria, because it pains us as ex-athlete to see that, of course, the administrative arm is acting too faulty. And then, of course, why the technical arm is doing well, or the athletes are giving their all, and the administrative arm is not delivering. So, I believe I have all what it takes to get on board and to drive the whole process.
Sunday Adeleye, thanks so much for your time. We wish you all the best. We'll keep you in the conversation, and then hopefully we'll get you back on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.